Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Jamason. Welcome to another SFCM Tiny Dorm concert. Today, we are going to enjoy performances from 9 young artists, all voice majors at SFCM, and all members of the school's Baroque ensemble. All were a part of the cast of our recent production of Handel's great opera, Ottone. So after months of preparation by the cast and members of the Baroque orchestra at the school, the performance, which was scheduled for mid-March, was regrettably canceled due to the crisis. That's why I'm so happy that we're able to do this today, to share at least a small portion of the opera with you. As we're still sheltering in place, the singers will be performing their arias alone, individually, with a recorded piano accompaniment. Now, certainly this is not the way we originally intended to perform the work. In historical performance projects at SFCM, we always perform with period instruments as we intended to do for Ottone. We thrill and we revel in the energy and the electricity of live performance, the interaction and the reaction to each other and to the audience. Baroque music is always chamber music. But as I said, I'm just so pleased that we're able to do this today, to present these wonderful young artists to you in this somewhat unanticipated format. And with my colleague, wonderful colleague, Marcy Stapp, I worked closely with these singers over the course of a year quickly grew to admire them all for their musicianship and their incredible work ethic. They're just completely dedicated to developing their craft. And it's been an honor and a joy for me to work with them and with Marcy. A production like this is a team effort. I'd like to thank my colleagues with whom the cast and orchestra work so closely. As I said, Marcy Stapp, Elizabeth Reed, Elizabeth Blumenstock, and Carla Moore. And thanks to the incredible voice faculty of the Conservatory. And I also like to thank the wonderful pianists and coaches who recorded the piano tracks for the purpose of the live stream today. And I'd like to thank Kelly Coyne and Jose Soberanes and Hank Moo and Andrew Ross and all their team for their incredible help today on the technical side of our presentation. And while we're offering thanks, all of us at SFCM would like to thank Harry Winston for their amazing support of this project and the continued partnership with our students. Thank you so much. Now the singers are going to introduce their arias, but let me just tell you a little bit about this great opera and then we'll get to the music in a couple of minutes. It's little known now, but Ottone was one of Handel's greatest triumphs during his career. It was premiered in January 1723 in London at the King's Theatre in Haymarket, the site of so many other triumphs for Handel. Ottone in this production appears to be a combination of Otto I and Otto II, both real people who existed in the 10th century, both German kings. As is often the case for many opera seria libretti, there's much historical basis for elements of the story, but of course, most of it is a fabrication. Think of it like historical fiction with perhaps the emphasis on the fictional aspect. Now, before the opera even begins, the German king Ottone has already conquered Berengario and his wife Gismonda and their son Adalberto in Rome. As the opera opens, it's clear that Ottone is going to have to deal with the growing menace and threat of Gismonda and Adalberto seeking to regain their throne and take power back from Ottone. Ottone is about to marry Teofane. It's a political alliance, but he appears to love her even though they've never met. Through lies, tricks, and deception, Gismonda and Adalberto insert themselves before Ottone can even meet Teofane, tricking her into thinking that Adalberto is Ottone. She hasn't met Ottone, so presumably she'll be fooled, but she's fallen in love with him from looking at a picture. And so she's quite confused when she sees Adalberto and is told that he is Ottone. She sings about this in her first aria, which will be our first aria today. So Gismonda and Adalberto seek to take power back from Ottone as well as to take his bride, Teofane. Matilda, a cousin of Ottone, is torn between her loyalty to Ottone as well as her love of Adalberto, who repeatedly lies to her, to say the least. Teofane's brother, Basilio, plays a major part in the story, but for most of the opera, Teofane does not realize it's her brother, as Basilio is quite disguised as a pirate, having been a pirate for many years under the name Emireno. Okay, now at this point, you're probably saying, oh boy, here we go. Yes, these plots are complicated, and they're always more so when you read them or hear them explained verbally. But on stage, of course, it all presents itself simply and clearly. But since we're not seeing the complete opera today, only 9 moments from it, I think the best thing is that we don't really worry too much about following all the plot lines, but rather track a few moments in the lives of these characters through the 9 arias we're about to hear. So most importantly, for our purposes today, about then learning about the plot lines is to think about what the opera is actually about. It touches many different themes in different ways for different characters: ambition, power, love, fidelity, loyalty, betrayal, parental love, love between siblings. In many ways, it's a political story, but it's a deeply human story filled with vulnerability and doubt and fear and uncertainty. Uncertainty of some characters as to what will happen, uncertainty as to who they are and how they're perceived by others. Now, opera seria is often described as formulaic and lacking spontaneity, a never-ending pattern of recitative followed by aria, followed by recitative, followed by aria, with arias mostly serving to allow singers an opportunity for vocal display. A relentless uniformity that lacks any resemblance to actual life, but actually nothing could be further from the truth. While the structure is repetitive, opera seria offers a universe of creative opportunities and possibilities, both in composition and in performance, in its portrayal of real people experiencing real emotions that all of us can relate to. It's highly stylized, there's no doubt, but at the same time, totally modern. The formulaic structure in Handel's operas is really a springboard for the most heartfelt expression of feelings. His operas are just, frankly, a never-ending source of wonder and variety and experimentation in arias, choruses, secco, as well as accompanying recitatives, and elegant, masterful orchestrations. There's no vocal display in Ottone just for the sake of vocal display. Each aria serves the characters and the dramatic situation. Every single aspect of Handel's music, every compositional decision he made shapes our perception of these characters as real people. The da capo aria, and it was not unusual for many a Baroque opera to have over 30 arias, allows the performer the opportunity to display their gifts of rhetoric, of drama, of oratory, a sense of the dramatic arc of the aria, the exploration of rhythmic freedom and rubato, and perhaps most importantly, improvisation. All played a great part in this tradition, in which the performers of the era consider themselves co-creators rather than recreators. Now, we approached this opera for quite some time simply studying the text, approaching it with seriousness, without any trace of camp or irony or modern feeling of superiority. We sought to understand who these characters are, their vulnerabilities, their dreams, their hopes, their fears. And then we studied the music in great detail, allowing Handel to show us the richness and depth of the characters through his music, allowing Handel to take the lead in showing us the true nature of these people. The composition is in so many ways the stage direction. We take our clues from the text as illuminated by the music. And only at this point did we begin to examine the role improvisation may take from the point of view of the rhetoric of the aria, its dramatic arc. In this whole process, which lasted months, I was so impressed with the students' seriousness in their approach and their great gift in making these characters become true people, truly alive, which you're going to see in a few moments. Now, going to the opera in 1723 at the King's Theatre, which was the original performance venue for Ottone, was a totally different way to experience opera from what we know in our modern opera houses. People talked, people moved around, people ate, they played cards, they visited friends, they came over and over and over to performances as they owned or rented boxes for the season. Now, when the stars sang, I assume people were quiet, but God knows this was no easy audience. But the stars, my goodness, the original cast of Ottone was Baroque singing royalty. The lead role being sung by the famous castrato Senesino. He'd go on to create the lead role in Giulio Cesare and many other important roles for Handel. Another lead singer from the original production was the astonishing soprano Francesca Cuzzoni, making her London debut. This singer, like Senesino, was enormously important in Handel's career. After Ottone, she would introduce roles of Cleopatra in Giulio Cesare, as well as the title role in Rosalinda. About her, Quantz said that her style of singing was innocent and affecting, and she took possession of the soul of every auditor by her tender and touching expression. I love that. I love that phrase. She took possession of the soul of every auditor. Now, after hearing the very beautiful aria that Kathryn Rupp is about to sing, you may be surprised to learn that Cuzzoni at first complained to Handel about it. She wanted him to replace it with a different aria, one with perhaps more flair, more of a display piece. But he demanded she sing this one, and she did. And it became one of the greatest triumphs of her career. Thank goodness Handel stuck to his gun. Okay, let's get to the music. Please feel free to write comments on YouTube. Let us know where you are, any thoughts you have. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now I have the great pleasure of introducing soprano Kathryn Rupp, who is portraying the role of Teofane. Hello, Kathryn.
Hi, Corey. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Excited.
I'm excited too. Enjoy. Take care.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kathryn Rupp, and I will be performing as Teofane along with my beautiful colleague Taylor C., who you'll see later in this afternoon's concert. I, Teofane, is daughter of Romano, the Emperor of the East, and I've just arrived to Rome to marry Ottone, the King of Germany, whom I've only seen a picture of. I'm a young woman torn from my family and everything I love dearly, and my hope is that this marriage goes smoothly and my husband and his family are happy with me. Before this first aria, Gismonda, a widow and mother of Adalberto, tells her son to pose as Ottone and marry me so he can take over the empire. Unknown to me, the real Ottone has been delayed, and when I see Adalberto, I am confused because he does not look like the picture I have carried for so long. I am distraught and confused and need to keep my head held high. This will be first of many challenges for me throughout the opera, as I will face many more confusions and lies. I will now speak a poetic translation of this aria. False picture, you have deceived me. You show me a beautiful face that captivated me. Now the sweet deception is over, and I only find horror and anguish where my heart hoped for joy. I would like to thank pianist Mai-Linh for making this recording. would now like to introduce my dear friend Wilford. Hi, Wilford.
Hey, Kathryn, beautiful job.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, hi everybody. My name is Wilford Kelly, and I'm portraying the role of Emireno. Emireno is an interesting character because for most of the opera, he is known as the leader of a villainous band of pirates who were notorious for ruling the seas until it is later revealed that he is actually Basilio, the royal brother of Princess Teofane, and was sent into exile a long time ago. At this point in the opera, Ottone and Emireno have just had a fierce battle at sea, and Ottone was able to overtake Emireno. This aria, del minacciar del vento, serves as Emireno's final act of defiance to Ottone before being placed in jail. The translation is as follows. An ancient oak mocks the threats of the wind, when many times it has withstood its gusts. Despite this stroke of bad fortune, I can still hold my head high. Special thanks to my pianist and coach, Stephen Bailey, for recording the piano accompaniment. Minacciar del vento si ride quercianosa che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò, le scosse ne provò. Del minacciar del vento si ride quercianosa, si ride quercianosa che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò, che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò. Del minacciar del vento si ride quercianosa, che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò. Le scosse ne provò, si ride quercianosa, che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò, che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò. Abbattermi non può, no, no, abbattermi non può. Dal di fortuna lonte, io sarò già la fronte, che so che l'orgoglioso abbattermi non può, no, no, abbattermi non può. Che 100 volte 100 le scosse ne provò. dechandosa, decento vo decento, nesco se ne provò. Decento vo decento, nesco se ne provò. All right, now next up, I'd like to introduce my friend Natalie Mitchell. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Wilford. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Natalie Mitchell, and I am portraying the role of Gismonda. Gismonda is a very powerful and manipulative woman. She was the Empress of Rome alongside her husband Berengario. Berengario was displaced from the throne by Ottone prior to the opera. Gismonda's only mission is to seek revenge and regain the throne for her son Adalberto. Here, Adalberto is posing as Ottone to trick Teofane into marrying him. Gismonda now poses as Adelaide, who is Ottone's mother, in their vengeful scheme to take back the throne. Gismonda is prepared to do anything to gain this. This aria translates to, thinking of loving him, for from your heart, love is asked for more than duty. Your royal husband was prompted by love when he turned his thoughts to you. I'd like to thank my pianist and coach, Keaton Brown, for graciously recording this accompaniment. like to introduce Mahsheed Massarat. Hi, Mahsheed.
Hi, Natalie. Beautiful, beautiful job. That was fantastic. Well done. Hello, everyone. I am Mahsheed Massarat, and I portray Matilda in Ottone alongside my wonderful, wonderful friend Cristina Lanz, whom you will hear later in this program. Princess Matilda is a woman of deep compassion and responsibility to those she holds dear. Her fiancé, Adalberto, abandons her in favor of Teofane, whom his mother Gismonda wishes him to marry with Adalberto's enthusiastic agreement. After Adalberto is captured, even after having abandoned her, Matilda still loves him, and in Attunon's side tries to convince Gismonda that in spite of all the grief Adalberto has caused her, her love and will to save him is deeply sincere. Now I'm going to share a poetic translation of the aria. You do not know how much my heart longs and feels compassion for him. In such grief and lamenting, my only desire is for freedom to be granted to him. Before I begin, I would like to extend a big thank you to my coach, Charles Calhoun, for making this recording. Enjoy. Now, I would like to introduce our other beautiful Gismonda, Alissa Goretsky. Hello, Alissa.
Hi, Mahsheed. That was
How are
beautiful.
you? Thank you. I'm excited to hear you. I love Gismonda. She's just such a wonderful character. I'm happy to be in between you and Natalie. This is just a treat.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us during this Mother's Day weekend. My name is Alissa Goretsky, and before I start, I would like to thank everyone involved in this Tiny Dorm project, but especially to my coach, Mai-Linh Pham, who made this beautiful recording. In this aria, I, Gismonda, have worked hard in conjuring up a plan to get my family back on the throne. Being so caught up with my own plan and what I wanted, I didn't see what really matters is family. So Gismonda in this aria is looking and longing back to have her son with her, for him to console her. The last time that I saw Adalberto was when I told him to either triumph or die before his battle with Ottone. This aria shows the pleading and vulnerable side of Gismonda that you don't see at any other moment in this opera. I will now share a poetic translation of the aria Vieni, o figlio. Come, my dear son, and console me. If living has denied you, come and rest upon my heart, for if the heavens are merciful, I will die with you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Now, I would like to welcome our Ottone, Matheus Coura. Hi, Matheus.
Hi, Gismonda. Hi, Alissa. You are so fabulous. Oh, wait, 1 second.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to hear you.
That aria just makes me feel really bad for Gismonda. I almost feel bad for conquering you, and taking the throne, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
All right, then.
You're so fabulous. So next, I will be singing Dopo l'Orrore. My name is Matheus Coura, and I'm playing Ottone, the King of Germany. Shout out to Luke Elmer, who is also sharing the role with me. So I became the Holy Roman Emperor after conquering Gismonda, Berengario, and Adalberto in battle. But now, after conquering everybody, I just want someone to share the glory with me. So in this aria, when Teofane and I meet for the first time, I'm really confused by her reaction. She should be really happy to see me because I just came, the promised husband. But she is overcome with jealousy for my cousin and thinks that I love her and thinks that I don't love Teofane anymore. So in this aria, I compare Teofane's psyche to a stormy sky. And above those clouds, there's always a bright and clear day. So the translation is as follows. After the gloom of a stormy sky, the day appears ever more dear and even more beautiful. Love is like that too, when it gives back to a scorned love the calm it took away. And I would like to thank Alex Katsman for my wonderful recording. Never happened before. How bizarre. rehearsal.
Hey, Matheus. Hi,
That's
Matheus.
ironies of the kind.
Hey, thanks a lot. Listen, you only had about one more phrase to go, so I think we may end it there. Thank you. That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Sounded great. But we're gonna go to yeah, it's okay. No problem. You did a magnificent performance, and it was awesome. Thank you. Technical problems happen. No problem at all. Thanks so much. So hi, Keaton.
Hi, Corey. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Enjoy.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keaton Brown, and I will also be portraying the role of Emireno. As we heard in Del Minacciar del Vento, sung incredibly by Wilford, Emireno has been sent off to prison by Ottone. He did not think Ottone would send him to prison, nor did he think he would be held in captivity for so long. Adalberto is also being held captive, so he and Emireno decide that they are going to escape through the woods. Emireno moves a big rock all by himself, and he's feeling quite powerful and ready to seek revenge. He decides he's going to sail down the river to get as far away from Ottone as he possibly can. In this aria, Le profonde vie dell'onde, Emireno makes it clear he is ready to rule the seas again and seek vengeance on those who have done him wrong. The text of this aria translates to, "Grant me, O heaven, to plow through the deep ways of the waves. With my daring name I will fill the shores of the sea, and I will cause blood to flow to avenge the wrongs done to me." I would like to thank Stephen Bailey for making the recording for this performance. Here is Le profonde vie dell'onde. Le profonde vie dell'onde dammi cieli risolcar, il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Le profonde vie dell'onde dammi cieli risolcar, il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Il mio nome di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Ampio ancora elite il mar. E farò che il sangue scorra fra quelli cui do elemento i miei torti a vendicar. I miei torti a vendicar. Le profonde vie dell'onde dammi cieli risolcar, il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Le profonde vie dell'onde dammi cieli risolcar, il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Il mio nome di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Il mio nome l'ardimento di spavento, ampio ancora elite il mar. Ampio ancora elite il mar. Thank you so much. I would now like to hand it over to our other Teofane and my dear, dear friend, Taylor C.
Hey, Keaton.
Hi, Taylor.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. So my name's Taylor C. I am portraying the role of Teofane, and I will be singing the aria Ben che mi sia crudele from Scene 6 of Act 3. To recap what was mentioned by my double, Kathryn Rupp, who beautifully sang Falsa Immagine, I, Teofane, am very confused at the beginning of the opera. Gismonda's son, Adalberto, has posed as Ottone in hopes of marrying me so he can take over the empire. Adalberto doesn't look anything like the picture I have of Ottone,
But this is cleared up later on when I meet the real Ottone. However, when I see Ottone supposedly flirting with another woman, Matilda, I become very upset and show him my anger. At this point, I am at my absolute lowest, as nothing is going my way. However, although I'm angry, I'm not going to let Ottone's cruelty and infidelity get the best of me. I'm going to be the bigger person and remain faithful. Here's the English translation of this aria. Although he is cruel and unfaithful to me, my soul will not be like that. Let God, the deity of love, hear my complaints, and bring back to my heart the one I love, the one who betrayed me. Thank you so much to Alex Katsman for this recording, and here we go. Thank you so much, and now I'd like to welcome Cristina Lanz.
Hi, Taylor.
Hey, Cristina.
That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank
Thanks
you.
for singing that.
Thank you.
As Taylor said, I'm Cristina. I also play Matilda in this production, as Mahsheed said earlier. And since we've seen Matilda, a lot has happened. Gismonda and I did end up teaming up to help Adalberto escape, but after he escapes, I find out that he kidnapped Teofane, and I'm furious that he would betray me after I helped him. So I go to convince Ottone that he should get his revenge on Adalberto, and Gismonda ends up ratting me out for helping Adalberto escape. Which brings us here. So, in this aria, I'm trying to make amends with Ottone, and I vow to kill Adalberto myself. In this moment, I am so ashamed of how I betrayed my cousin. I am furious at Adalberto, as you will hear in the text of this aria. With his blood and with your tears, I will wash the guilt from my heart, and then I shall be contented. It will suffice for my peace of mind to compensate for my grave misdeeds if I kill that traitor. Thank you so much to Margaret Halbig, my pianist and coach, for making this recording, and I hope you enjoy.
Nel suo sangue e nel tuo pianto laverò del cor la colpa e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò. Nel suo sangue e nel tuo pianto laverò del cor la colpa e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò. Basterà per mio conforto risarcire il grave torto, se l'infidio svenero. Basterà per mio conforto risarcire il grave torto, se l'infidio svenero, se l'infidio svenero, se l'infidio svenero. Nel suo sangue e nel tuo pianto laverò del cor la colpa e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò. Nel suo sangue e nel tuo pianto laverò del cor la colpa e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò, e contenta allor sarò.
Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our concert. I'm going to pass it back to Corey now to finish us off.
Thank you, Cristina. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I loved it. You and your castmates are just all incredible. It's just so great to hear you sing all these fantastic arias. You guys are all brilliant. Thank you for sharing all of this. It was awesome. I'd like to thank all my HP colleagues and our wonderful voice faculty again. And I want to thank again all the wonderful pianists who made the recordings for today's presentation. And thanks again to Harry Winston for partnering with our students. I'm so glad you joined us for this performance. Please consider making a gift to SFCM to support our students' work during this period. And please join us later today at 5 o'clock for another Tiny Dorm presentation by our JAM, which is our Roots, Jazz, and American Music program. Lastly, I'd like to thank the cast again and invite them to come back for a virtual bow and a wave together. Come on back, guys, And thank you all.